Good morning, guys. So we've been in the boatyard for a little while now.
And there's one thing that we wanted to share with you guys, and that's that there is yard days and yard dollars. Now, we believe it's similar to, say, the dog years. For every one human year, it's 5 to 7 dog years, and it's very similar in the yard. For every job that you think is going to take a certain amount of time, it may take just a little bit longer. And the job we're going to tackle today is one of those jobs that's notorious for proving this to be true. So come along for the ride and see how we go.
But before we get started, we had some friends over yesterday, so we're going to clean the boat, give it a good scrum, good clean up before heading downstairs.
Yeah.
Hi, we're the James family.
Are you sick of your day-to-day life? Ever thought about doing something different?
Well, we did just that.
We bought an unfinished aluminium catamaran and we're fixing her up as we sail around the world.
Come along for the journey and click subscribe.
Daddy? Mommy? Charlie? James.
Alrighty guys, so today I want to talk to you about Cutlass Bearings. Now, Cutlass Bearing is a type of bearing, and it goes in at the back here where the stern bearings go, or in a P bracket or something like that. Where Cutlass comes from is it really means cut less. So it's got a rubber insert in it. It can have a brass housing, or with us here we've got a material housing around the outside, but it's got the rubber housing here in the middle instead of the metal one, and that's why it's called Cutlass, and it's water lubricated where the water goes down in through the grooves here. Now we're changing ours today, and what they've done with ours, it's a common thing a lot of people do, is to put some epoxy glue on it to hold it in there and to stop it rotating. The challenge we faced was our boat's fairly old and it's had quite a few changes done, so our actual shaft on the inside is very nicked and grooved, and they've used the hacksaw trick to take it off, and so it was really stuck in there. So what we had to do was we got a heat gun to soften up the glue and then get it out that way. As you can see here, it fits in. This is a new one. It fits in quite easily. What it does have is it's got a locking screw on the side, and so with this one here, you can see the remnants there. That's where the locking screw used to go to stop it rotating. So they've used the epoxy just to make sure it's stuck in there, make sure it doesn't rotate and chew out. And it also lubricates it to put it in and out. But you can see with this one here, it goes in and out quite easily. You can see the rubber insert here on the inside that I was talking about, and then the grooves there that help lubricate it. Now there's a few different ways to change your Cutlass bearings. One way is you can push it out from the inside, and so you'll get a big rubber washer, that's a big metal washer that's about the same size as your stern tube. Get a hydraulic press and push it out. The reason we couldn't do that here today is because our shaft is very long, and there's some benefits to having a long shaft. One of the benefits is our Cutlass bearings normally last longer, where on the shorter shafts you get a lot more torsional vibration from the engine and they won't last as long. But it also meant that I didn't have a push rod long enough, and I'd have to move the engines and gearbox to get the space in behind the shaft to push it all the way through. So then we tried to get a knocker, and what that means is we got a washer that's a little bit smaller that fitted up the inside. We gripped it on the edge there and tried to knock it out, but because it was glued so well and the glue was sticking in all the grooves, that didn't work. And so then we had to get a hacksaw, and we sawed through it, made a section, banged a screwdriver up the center, and then managed to free it. With the epoxy, if you have a newer boat, it'll just crack off and it'll come out really easy. It's only because our boat's fairly old, and it's had a few Cutlass bearings in its time, that it's very nicked and grooved on the inside of the shaft here, and that just gave all the spots for the glue to grip and make it a lot harder to get out. Alright, now one of the common questions we get asked is, how long do these last and how often should you replace it? Now, that's a fairly tricky question to answer. On Google, it says 10 years. I wish mine lasts 10 years. It all depends on use and also how balanced your propellers are. If you've been in the marina for a little while and you go out and they're a little bit unbalanced, that's going to cause excessive wear on your Cutlass bearings. Now, the way they work is there is actually a formula depending on the size of your shaft. 15% should be, an acceptable wear on a Cutlass bearing, but essentially if you get a few mils worth of play and you're already hauled out, it's a good idea to swap them, because once they start wearing, it's one of those things to just start to go faster and faster and faster, because as the shaft rattles around in there more and more, it'll just chew out and wear away quicker and quicker. So if you get a couple of mils of play and you're already hauled out, that's the time to do it. If you're diving and you get a couple of mils of play, I mean, you can wait till you get hauled out, but just know once it does start to play and slop around in there, it'll only get worse faster and faster.
Thank you so much to our Patreons. Your support helps make these videos possible. And if you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up and leave us a comment below. We love hearing from you. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you guys next week. Bye guys.